Welcome to Prime Space, a Prime Coaching Academy podcast with your host, Elias. So coaches, just last week during our Prime event where Amy and I were discussing the 8 myths of coaching, there was one moment that one of the participants put in the chat a statement or a story that it really hit strong on me. This participant said, "Thank you for demystifying these points, because at times when I am in my coaching conversation with my clients, I feel like the coach police is going to show up anytime." Oh, that was hard to read that, and not surprising actually, but it's very sad, right, to think of this idea that this coach, and that person is not alone, goes into a coaching conversation and feels restrained and concerned, and am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the wrong thing? Or the coach police is going to show up. That breaks my heart when I hear things like that. And unfortunately, as I said, it's very common. You perhaps may feel this way, and to see the gap between what you heard in coach training and what you were supposed to do and the reality of this moment that you're having with this client. And it puts you into this, between a rock and a hard place moment. And it ends up that when you have to respond to the reality, to the moment, it makes you feel kind of guilty that you're not following the things that you learned in your coach training program. Sad, right? The things that we are learning in coach training is supposed to support us there, not make us feel, in this way. And unfortunately, it is a reality, because we have to recognize that we are in a moment of our coaching industry and the development of our coaching industry that, the pendulum has gone, far into standardization. We have become a lot legalistic at this point. And it is, I guess, a consequence of this pursuit of standardization, which is crucial, right? Foundational. We can't have a profession without standardization. But right now, in this moment, we're taking standardization a little too seriously. And I would say not just seriously, but perhaps superficially. We are not quite understanding the standards at a deeper level. So it feels constrained. It doesn't feel free. But the purpose of all of these standards is to empower us. The purpose of all of these standards is to give us even more possibilities for us to bring even more value to that moment of the coaching conversation. If the standards are not giving us that, so then we need to change the standards. But you know me. You know, if you've been my mentee, if you've been listening to Prime Space, if you've been in my classes, you know how passionate I am about the standards. I think that there is so much beauty in the ICF core competencies, in the coaching mindset, in the PCC markers, in the ACC bars, in the MCC bars. Are they perfect? No, they are far from perfect. And the ICF keeps working hard in trying to polish and bring them to a higher level. Right now, the ICF is in the process of revising the core competencies. To see, is there anything else that we can tweak here? And this is beautiful. This is required. if we want to continue to grow, it is required that from time to time we take a look and say, have we learned anything here? Is there anything that we need to change or polish? And so that's what we're doing, right? This is the industry is still young, and we are growing here. But I'm saying all of this because I really want to encourage you, take the can't out of your coaching. This idea that I cannot do this, I cannot do that. Oh my gosh, this is wrong. Oh, I'm doing the wrong thing here. Oh, the coach police is going to show up. Oh, please, let's be free. That is the core point of coaching. If we are thinking so much about the rules, if we have this sense that I'm not doing the right thing, if we are feeling shackled by what we learned in coach training, we are not present. We are not building a relationship with the client. We are not open. We are not coming authentically to the coaching conversation. So it defeats the purpose. Right? We need to feel free, and we need to feel open to that moment. So my invitation here for you is, let's take the can't out of this. But here's the problem, because and I see this happening when I am assessing for the ICF, right? Like I get these recordings, and I see that like these recordings where the coach is like marker number 1, marker number 2, marker number 3, and doing checking all the boxes and everything. And it's sad. Yes, the coach is demonstrating what they learned in coach training, and I'm there checking the markers. But it's sad because it's clear that after that recording is done, and after that coach gets their certification, I doubt that coach is going to continue performing coaching conversations the same way, because it's unrealistic. It's unsustainable, right? And if the coach persists in coaching that way, that prescriptive way, I doubt that coach is going to really have a sustainable coaching practice, because the clients are going to leave. It's not real. So what happens is that we have this dichotomy. Either we are checking the boxes, doing all of the things, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or we realize that this is too constrained and not realistic, and we throw the whole thing out of the window. And then we have these conversations with the client that are not benefiting from all of this beautiful work of standardization that the community has done for decades now. I think that there is a middle ground, and this is my invitation for you here. So let's say, for example, advice. Oh, I can't give advice. It's not the can't. Right? What is behind when your coach trainer brings this idea that advice giving is not helpful in a coaching conversation? Well, let's be sincere here. Advice giving is not helpful in any relationship. I always say this: if a person is giving advice, turn around and walk the opposite way. Right? Run from it. Because advice is so much about that individual, is so much about that person's experience. It's so much about what that person believes. And advice giving is rarely fully in tune with the recipient. So it's not that we can't give advice. It's just that advice giving is not productive. But of course we have experiences. Of course, we have responses. Of course, we are a human being, right? We are receiving all of this information from the client. And of course, we are going to make connections to our own experiences and what we have lived. There is a way for us to share with the client what we have in a coach-like manner. Actually, this is written in the core competencies. Did you know that? Go and pay attention to core competency number 7, standard number 11. The coach, one of the skills of coaching is the coach shares observations, insights, feelings without attachment, that have the potential to create new learning for the client. So it's there in the core competencies. What we need to do is to learn how to do that well and to do that in a coach-like manner. And that is the training that we need to do. Oh, we only ask closed-ended questions. And if you have been in my classes, if you are my mentee, you know that this is my pet peeve, right? It's just unexcusable to me when a coach is asking closed-ended question after closed-ended question, and the only reason the coach is asking closed-ended question is because of lack of skill. The coach does not know how to craft a beautiful, beautiful open-ended question. It's inexcusable to me because the skill of asking open-ended questions is so basic. Right, I remember being in a group mentor coaching, and I explained to this coach that was having trouble asking open-ended question. I gave a couple of tips about open-ended question, and the coach corrected that skill immediately, right? Because it's something simple, right? So it's not that you can't ask closed-ended question. It's just that asking an open-ended question is so much more powerful. And if at a point, there is a point in the coaching conversation that you feel intentionally there is a reason why a closed-ended question would be important and valuable here, go ahead and ask the closed-ended question. But then you're asking the closed-ended question not because you don't have the skill of asking open-ended question. You're asking the closed-ended question because of an intentional choice. Why questions is the same thing. Sometimes in the coaching conversation, just asking why. It's the most powerful thing that we can do with a client. Doing a visualization, right? Like visualization. There is once in a while there is a coach that says, okay, let's close their eyes and let's visualize it. Oh my God. That the moment that you start doing that, you are taking charge and you are guiding. And that's not the purpose of coaching. However, there is nothing wrong with sharing, like, I feel a sense of tension here. What can you do here to relax or take a breath? What would happen if you took a breath right now? Right? There are ways that we can introduce certain points to the client without taking charge of it. So anyways, interruptions is another thing. Can or cannot do interruptions, right? There are so many other things that the coaches have this, I cannot do it. It's not that you can't. It's just that there might be a better way, a more powerful way, a more valuable way to bring this in. I get very concerned because with this legalistic stance that we have in the coaching industry right now, coach training programs are becoming very prescriptive. And, it's just an examination of the core competencies, competency number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then, the students leave the coach training program very knowledgeable of the core competencies, but not knowing how to coach. Just because we are teaching core competencies does not mean that we are supporting these students to become great coaches, right? There is much more to that. So my suggestion for you, my invitation for you as a coach trainer, my invitation for you as a mentor, my invitation for the whole coaching community is pay attention. Are we becoming so prescriptive and following the rules simply, or are we throwing the rules out of the window? Can we go deeper? Because there is beauty, there is tremendous beauty and humanity in the standards that we have in our community right now. And what we need to do, our job, is to go deeper. If you ever feel like you are feeling shackled, or you're feeling pressured, or you don't know what to do, get curious. Why? Why the community of coaches established this particular standard of establishing a session agreement, of asking open-ended questions, of not giving advice. Why? Let's go deeper, because as we go deeper, as we go and understand the reason for that, then of course, I'm going to go there. Of course, I'm going to be able to offer this moment to my client that is much more open to the client and much more valuable to the client's exploration and to the client's discovery of what is happening with them in the moment. Okay? It's an invitation. So please take the can't, forget the coach police. Be free, because that is the purpose of the coaching moment. Be free with your client. But anytime you feel like you're not quite there, get curious and go deeper into the understanding of the core competencies. And if you cannot find it, send me a message. I would love to have a conversation with you. And I say this because, I am committed to supporting coaches and learning from each other. And this is not a sales pitch, because I'm busy, but it's really whatever I can do to support you, it's always a pleasure, right? The core of the Prime Coaching Academy program is based on that depth of understanding of the competency, so that we are not simply following the rules, but we are really offering a transformative moment to our clients. Thank you for listening, and we will be back next week. Next week I have a guest, and a fun guest. Not that the other guests were not fun, but this one is going to be a lot of fun, and you're going to realize why I'm saying it's fun right now, because we are going to play a little bit. And so tune in for next week's episode. Please share, please subscribe, please review these podcasts. So helpful, and have a wonderful week, everybody. I will see you next time.